All right, we are on air. Andrew, you are coming in full screen.
Good.
All right, our attendees are growing here. So we've got a few more minutes before we get started. But welcome to everybody that's already on. Andrew, do you want to go ahead and share your slide deck?
Yes, give me just a second.
There we go. All right. Rapidly growing here. Got a good group today. So we're going to give it a few more minutes as we wait for other people to join. All right. Got a pretty full agenda this morning for everyone, so we're going to try to get started right on time. We've got 1 minute. Lots of people still joining. Okay, welcome to those of you that are just now joining. We're going to get started in just a minute or so. So letting the participant list grow. All right, so we just got 1 more minute here, less than a minute. Okay, so it is 9 a.m. Central Time, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So good morning to all of those of you joining us in North America, and good afternoon to those of you internationally. A really good group for this session, so really excited that everyone's registered and participating. So Andrew, if you want to go ahead and advance our slides. I'm Chad Eiler. I'm the Vice President of Products, and I've got my colleague Andrew Lyons, Software Product Manager, that is going to be leading our session today. Feel free to chat in any questions that you might have during the webinar this morning. We'll try to get as many of those answered as we can. If we don't have time to get to those, we will follow up with individual answers. So today's subject is about updating our existing users and potential future users on the latest version of IBML Capture Suite. So we've got some really exciting features that we're rolling out that are relative to all of the exciting buzzwords around AI that most of you are familiar with. And so we're really excited about the opportunity to let you guys get a glimpse of what's available and then what's coming. Just as a quick recap for those of you who might be new to the IBML brand or just now understanding our capabilities, this is an overview slide of IBML's Capture Suite platform that's proprietary to us. So we manufacture the software, it's IDP solution that doesn't just drive IBML scanners, but is capable of driving third-party scanners or inputting information from digital sources. And from there, we're able to apply different levels and types of recognition, image enhancement, classification, extraction. So that's where we're going to spend a majority of our time this morning is educating you guys on exciting new AI-based recognition capabilities. Then from there, we're able to process and perform exception handling with our quality control and validation module. And then once the information is accurate and complete, we're able to exchange that to other systems of record through productized connectors, through custom modules, just a variety of different ways we're able to exchange information with the next step in the business workflow. And all of that is monitored through an advanced reporting package. So I'm going to transition over to Andrew, and he's going to take you into the exciting new features related to IBML Capture Suite 5.6.
Thanks, Chad, for the introduction, and welcome everybody to the webinar today. We do want an interactive session like Chad mentioned, so as you have questions, please chat those and we will stop in the appropriate times to answer them. So we're going to start with our auto-indexing AI. As Chad mentioned, we are focused on this new initiative for AI. And we have some really exciting news that we want to introduce to you today in this version of Capture Suite 5.6. So to help get this started, I'm going to play a little commercial. It's about 2 minutes. That's going to give you a high-level introduction, and then we're going to jump and do a deep dive into the product itself. So stand by and watch our commercial.
Are manual keying and outdated document processing systems slowing you down? Manual data entry is prone to human error and fatigue, leading to unreliable data and costly mistakes. And if you're still using a legacy capture system to automate data entry, you're likely running into constant bottlenecks, both in speed and accuracy. These older systems just aren't built to adapt quickly in a world where document types change all the time. Setting up each new document is time-consuming and often expensive, sometimes even requiring professional services. If that sounds familiar, ibml is here to save the day as your trusted partner. Introducing ibml's AutoIndexAI module for the ibml Capture Suite. Powered by generative AI, this on-premises solution uses natural language prompts to extract and index data from virtually any document type quickly and accurately. With 24/7 automated processing, AutoIndexAI keeps things moving smoothly. No manual effort needed. You get consistent quality with built-in advanced error detection. And when the AI isn't fully confident, it flags exceptions for human review, keeping your large volumes of data accurate without overloading your team. There's no coding, no scripts. Just type what you need using natural language prompts. It handles structured or unstructured documents, machine print, and even cursive handwriting. Best of all, your data stays safe. ibml's AutoIndexAI runs entirely within your infrastructure, behind your firewall, with no data or training shared with public large language models or LLMs. With ibml's AutoIndexAI, you can finally move on from the hassle of manual indexing and legacy systems. It adapts with ease, keeps your data secure, and gives you full control. Want to see it in action? Request a demo today and discover how to streamline your data capture with confidence.
Well, I guess all of you scan the QR code because we're going to do a demo of this today. If you can relate to that, if you have those needs in your organization and you're looking for improvements, you have bottlenecks with this manual entry, you got handprint or difficult machine print, handwriting, where you've had to focus your effort on manual keying. You just haven't considered the ability to be able to read and extract this data at not only accuracy, but improved performance. Inconsistent quality, you got human fatigue, error checking, scalable headaches. So if you look at trying to improve user headcount to tackle these new systems because of the manual labor, rigid workflows, you got legacy tools, unstructured handwriting, multi-language forms, all intertwined. And then you got the hidden cost. As we know, you want to do something, the answer is always yes, but there could be some PS, professional services cost associated with it that would drive those costs up. So you're looking for an easily scalable solution, and we're going to do this with our AI-driven auto-indexing AI module. It reduces human fatigue. You can move those workers into other areas of your organization to where you can be more profitable and get more work through the system that's accurate, with easy to set up using no scripting, no coding prompts, natural language prompts, and easy to handle all these different document formats, structured or unstructured. And again, we want to just emphasize the ability to do machine print and even cursive handwriting, which has not been considered up until the last few years with this new technology. And you're going to improve productivity and save cost. So ultimately, your organization is going to be more successful because you're reducing these manual interventions that are with higher accuracy and this AI-driven speed and minimized configuration. So what does this look like? If you're a new customer or an existing customer, I want to give you a quick overview of the Capture Suite workflow as it exists today and what's new. So the boxes that are in green is a current product. This is what we've already released. And with 5.6, we're going to highlight the new modules with the blue. So whether your input is a Fusion, a Raptor, a Kodak, Canon, Fujitsu, whatever the model of scanner you have, or email, or watch folder, and you want to ingest this information into the Capture Suite workflow, that can already be accomplished. We already support that. We're just going to add value with being able to extract more meaningful data than maybe you have been able to do in the past. The QC review, again, this is a current module. It is established and available already for classification review, reviewing post-scan output, improving the image enhancement, and even Twain scanning in the QC review stations. The recognition modules have been there for years. We recognize barcode through image. We do your traditional rope and zonal OCR. We have intelligent document recognition, which if those aren't familiar with it, it is a classification based on the image topography. So it's not a structured form classification. It is an image-based classification. We do this both inline and in post-scan. So again, all these modules have been there for many years. What's new with the recognition is the AutoIndexAI read. We're using AI to extract this OCR data. We're getting difficult machine print, and we're going to look at some examples of this. Handwriting, cursive. It's amazing at what we can now extract. So forms and documents that you've lended for manual keying because there wasn't technology to be able to easily do this, and the accuracy was a problem. Now it is available for you, and it's an add-on module. So if you've already got Capture Suite and you want to add this to your existing workflow, this is now possible. With validation, we have regular expression, we have lookups, we have a number of different features that validation supports. What we've added is the ability to do an AI extraction in the validation step. And we've given you a thin client module to be able to to be able to key this data without having to have it installed. We'll talk more about that in a minute also. And then you've got your output, whether it's XML, PDF, searchable PDF, multi-page TIFF, whatever your output is. We've been doing this for many years. So this is an old hat that we've worn and been very successful with it. So you have the Capture Suite workflow. We've added some new modules that's really going to make your organization more profitable and more successful. So let's jump into the first module and let's talk about the configuration. So if you're a current Capture Suite customer, you're very most likely familiar with our Capture Suite job setup, and we have validation. Now, validation isn't new for us. We've had this for many years, but this new type of validation is what we're introducing today, this auto-indexing AI. So again, whatever your input is, scanners, email, zip files, watch folders, we support that ingestion to get it into the Capture Suite workflow. What's new is you got the best in class full page OCR, and we'll continue to emphasize the standard and difficult machine print along with constrained and unconstrained handprint and handwriting. We also support structured, semi-structured, and unstructured field level extraction. No coding required, all user interface. You define a field name, you choose the image type that you want to focus the extraction on. You select a start and end position. We'll talk about that in a minute because that's going to be a benefit also to your organization. You can do filtering, and then you have some formatting that we'll also go into. But easy to set up, takes minutes, and you get this extraction results that's meaningful to the operator that's doing the verification. So I'm going to jump to the product and we're going to look at a use case. So this is our job setup application. This is the validation tab for a transaction. This is not new, but what's new are these new natural language query field types, these auto-indexing AI. So let's look at the form. You can see I'm trying to get first name, last name. I'm trying to get a medical number and a date of birth. So you can see the form, Miss Alicia Maria Stefan Borrower. Like my daughter, they have 4 names, but the first and last name is Alicia Borrow. And there's an abbreviation to begin with. So 5 names in here without any labels. You've got the date of birth, you got the medical number, and so you got the first, last, date of birth, medical number. Now let's look at a couple of the forms where I've set this up. So you've got one that's in handprint, some handwriting, a little bit of mixture of both. Very difficult to read. You get the NHS number here, but wait, they have handwritten it down here and it's crooked. And you can see it was the scaling is different. So whether it's a copy or a fax, again, another scaling problem. And if you can imagine traditional OCR, zonal configuration, trying to set this up, how difficult it would be not only to find the first and last name, but also to read it when it's handprint or handwriting. All right, so those are typically the same forms. You could probably do something with, a number of hours. But now you've got one that's a completely different form with labels that aren't first name and last name. They're surname, forename. Oh, and here's another one. It says patient. And another one, Courtney Roberts, with the miss at the end. So you've got several variations of this form that you might say are structured, but you really don't know what the customer is going to send in. So we would put this in an unstructured category because as the customer sends this information in, we don't know what format it's going to be in. So the setup, while you might get a number of forms, you can do the 80-20 rule and be successful somewhat with the zonal. Imagine the implementation hours spent to configure this versus what I'm about to show you. So we have the first name, last name, NHS number, and date of birth. So we'll start with the first name. They do make a regular expression that find first name, but I just found for demonstration purposes, this is much easier. This is your key field. You would start with just giving it a descriptive name. And this is what the AI engine is going to go look for. And it's going to interpret surname. It's going to interpret a name and know where the first is. It's going to interpret patient and know that this is the first name and last name. So you have just the first name is all that was configured to find this. Now, during your testing, you might find, well, I was pulling 2 first names, which could be applicable. So you can come into your data tab and you can do some refined query text or prompts to help the AI engine focus on the information that you think is most important for your operators to review. So in here, you can see return only the first name from the input, exclude any titles, prefixes, middle names, or initials, and respond with exactly only 1 word, the first name only. So I was able to get this prompt. ChatGPT is a great resource for finding prompts. So easy to find, easy to set up. Again, only took minutes. We touched on this just a minute ago. I touched on this in the last slide, the starting and end position. So if you want to refine the data in which, or the images in which you're looking for the data, you can do this through a start and end position in a transaction. So say your transactions are hundreds of pages, your documents, some people say your grouping of documents or images is 100 pages, but you're really only interested in the first 5 pages for the meaningful data. Instead of sending all those images to the AI engine, which is going to take time and it's going to cost you. This is a subscription-based module, so you're going to pay per image. So if you want to limit what you're sending to the AI engine, it's going to improve accuracy because you're not looking at data that isn't important. It's going to improve performance because you only have a few images. And overall, it's going to reduce your cost because you're limiting the images you're sending to the engine. So you have the flexibility to configure the starting and end position in a transaction. You can also exclude specific document types. So I can set the engine up to only look for invoices or only look for medical records, or don't look for checks, or don't look for correspondence. So you have that flexibility built into the system to focus on the data that is most important for your organization. All right, I'm going to we'll jump to the NHS number and we'll look at the formatting. Again, all I did was type in this and was able to extract that meaningful data. I gave it some positional information to help, but overall there wasn't much required. Formatting, I can remove characters. So in this case, I wanted to normalize the data. Sometimes it has spaces, sometimes it returned with brackets. I was able to exclude these characters from the extraction to normalize the data so it all appears the same in the output. Another example of formatting is the date of birth. Again, regular expression just to help the validation operator focus on the important information. Give it a key field name, no hints. Out of the gate worked great. The only thing I did here was I wanted to normalize the output. So whether they put the year first or the month first or the day first, I wanted Great Britain English language to format the date to be day, month, year versus the US. We have a US option here where you could do month, day, year. So we can normalize the data. So whether you want hyphens or slashes, in the end, regardless of how it reads, it's going to extract that meaningful data. So a quick overview, and really this is how much time it took to set this up to recognize the data on these forms. First name, last name, NHS number, and date of birth across all these different types. We're going to look at the output in just a second. We're going to go back to our presentation, and we're going to talk about the thin client. So this is what the operator is going to use to verify the data that you've configured in your job. So you've got all the major providers, Firefox, Chrome, Edge for your Microsoft, Safari for your Apple. We're going to support all those major providers. And then you've got your Windows or database authentication for validation. So if you're a current customer, then you've already got a lot of capabilities in validation. You can upgrade to the thin client experience and take advantage of this new feature, improve centralized management. You're reducing hardware cost and you're providing the ease of scalability. As you want to add operators, you give them the URL, add their username, and make sure your license supports that many users, and you're off to the races. So very easy to get up and running and scalable for our customers.
Couple quick questions, Andrew, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So we got a question about general availability. So yes, this is technology that is generally available to all our users today in this latest version of 5.6. So and Andrew is going to actually talk a little bit about some use cases of customers that are already using this in production. The other question, Andrew, I'll let you take this one, is can you explain is anything related to the cloud, or is this completely on-prem?
This is completely on-premise, and we're actually going to get to a slide where we're going to talk at that a little more depth. So we'll hold that question for just a minute.
All right.
All right, good. Yeah, keep the questions coming, and we'll either address them in a future slide or we'll do what Chad did and stop and talk. All right, let's jump back to the demonstration and we can look at the thin client. So again, completely web-enabled thin client. In this case, I'm using Active Directory Windows authentication, but we also have database authentication, very similar to what you're experiencing with Capture Suite today. I've got a job here, so you have job select, batch select. Again, if you're using validation today, you would look at this and go, oh yeah, no training needed, right? It's the same as the thick client, other than it's going to be an improved UI. So you're going to see a better experience. And we're going to look at that right now. So it remembers your layout per user, per job. So different flavors for different people. Actually, I opened a batch that I've already validated. So let me go to another one. Here you go. So it's going to remember your layout. This can be organized any way you want. You can drag it around. You can move it from side to side. There's many different options to get this at the level that your operators feel is most optimal to them to be successful. I'm going to put mine back the way I like it. This is easiest for me, but again, different operators have different opportunities here. We have an image toolbar. You can minimize your ribbon bar to improve your field of view for your images. And then we have a toolbar here where you can do all the edit activities on the image itself, and it can quickly be removed. So this first one, again, machine print, really not a big deal, right? Most OCR engines would be successful with this, other than the configuration. All I said was first name. Give me the first name. Gave it a couple of prompts, and it was able to pull this out across the whole document. And you've got other names here, so it's not like it's the only name on the page. This is easy. So no labels, no coding, easy setup, extraction. 4 names, was able to pull the last name. You've got field level confidence values. You can highlight over and it gives you the confidence value. If it drops below a certain confidence that you have configured, it'll tell you it's field confidence, and it'll give you the confidence value there as well. So we'll move on to another one here. All right, so this one, it read miss as NOS, right? It's not perfect, but you can see how well it does do, because we'll look at the last name. So I'm going to clear this out, and instead of typing Blanche, I can simply click in the image and get that data populated into the field. And look how well it did with Blanche. And then this one for me, I looked at it when I first did this one, I would have spelt this differently than what the AI engine returned. But as I looked at the AI engine's result and my spelling, I left it alone because it did a better job than I would have done. And I won't try to pronounce it. This one's a great example of how there's multiple NHS number labels on a page, but there's only one that's really important. And if you notice, it's not straight. So traditional OCR would have a tough time with this, not only because it's handprint, but because of where it's laid out, not even close to where it should be. And then you got the date of birth, where it's an example of us normalizing the data. So you got day, month, year, and I've done a 4-digit year versus the 2-digit year. So normalizing the output. And we'll look at a couple of more of these and I'll stop on the more impressive ones. Again, normalizing the data, taking the slashes to hyphens. Another example of handprint, how well it was able to translate this data with high accuracy, removing spaces, again, normalizing the data. And then we'll look at some of these that have a different layout altogether. So again, surname, forename, not even the right label, because in my job, all I've said was give me first name, last name, NHS number, date of birth. That's all I've done with a prompt. I never used the word surname or forename in here at all. So I was able to quickly find this data, regardless of the form that I'm sending it. Your patient, I don't have patient anywhere in my setup. So if you think about your organization, you think about the images that are coming into your organization, and you think about how difficult it's been to do this. And in the past, you're like, I'm just going to manually key this. I don't have the time, I don't have the money or the resources to introduce this type of manual process, or this automated process. And that's what we really want to highlight today, that now you can take advantage of automating your difficult capture processes, capture images with this new auto indexing AI. Okay, for time's sake, I'm going to jump back into the presentation.
Andrew, quick
And
question before we leave, because this was relative to what you just showed. So, how would you handle multiple first names?
so yeah, there's two ways you can do it. And for another use case, there was a possibility for first names. You would change your prompt to say that it could have two first names, and then you would send it to a keyer if the confidence was low in that case. So yeah, we do have use cases where there are two first names, or it's probably more prevalent to have two first names. So I do have a use case where I have done that. Uh, so yeah, it would just be part of the prompts. And another thing to highlight that I didn't before, we have this testing function here. So what you would do after some experience is you would get a set of images that maybe are problematic, that you've had difficult time extracting the right information, maybe put those in a separate folder, and you can do testing right here without having to go into runtime and see what it does. You can do testing and it gives you the output for each. You can change the prompt, try it again. So you can, with trial and error, come to a right prompt that's going to give you that 80-20 rule. Okay, we'll go back to the presentation. With the new auto-indexing AI, we've also improved reporting. We strongly recommend and promote our analytics over the client reports because of the validation batch character statistics. In this use case, you're going to get some really useful information for your operations. You're going to get specific detailed information about a batch, and about multiple batches, as well as drill down reports to tell you what fields are problematic, which ones you want to focus more time on. It'll give you the original value and the change value, so you can audit your operators for what they are keying and what they are accurately changing. So you have this auditability that you'll have over the client reports. Client reports still give you some very good information, but if you want these drill down reports that you can take advantage for your operations, we would recommend the analytics reporting. All right, let's talk about architecture for just a minute. That question came up a second ago. We have the on-prem solution. Again, we're promoting this. There's nothing going to the cloud. Everything is on-premise. You look at the boxes to your right here, and the new one is this auto-indexing AI web server that's highlighted in the darker shade of green. It is going to be a new on-premise server that you'll own. It'll have a GPU card installed in it, and you can run both the auto-indexing AI and the web server on that single PC. The auto-indexing is going to be GPU intensive. The web server will be CPU intensive. So they can coexist without any problems. And depending on your SLAs and your daily volumes, you can double up on a GPU and get more throughput through the system. So we can help you determine what is the best for you and your organization to meet the daily throughput that you have. And then the remote clients, validation thin client, as we suggested, are URL driven. So this can be on premise through URL, or it can be offshore, or over the region in your area, as long as you have the appropriate security protocols to make it best for your organization. We have two use cases we want to quickly review. One is a leading service bureau that's using this in production. They had existing 7300s and 8300s Fusions. They also have some desktop scanners that they're using for QC and backup. They already had post-scan, they already had quality control, but they had use case where they wanted to extract 8 fields from utility permits written by plumbers. And you can imagine the handwriting that you're going to get for some of these forms. So we add the auto-indexing AI and we added validation thin client so they can quickly extract this information and improve their manual keying by 75%. No coding, and take advantage of setting this up in literally minutes. And this is unconstrained handwriting. Another use case is a leading insurance company that purchased hardware, auto-indexing AI, post-scan, and validation thin client all together as a new customer to extract a policy number from claim forms to replace a manual process that they had originally. Again, if you're going from manual keying to automation, you're going to at least improve by 75%. No coding, easy to set up. And now they can onboard other forms because of the ease of configuration. So one thing that we want to talk about what's coming soon is we have 3 new modules that we really are interested in to get our customers' feedback on complex forms that include table and checkbox, table extraction and checkbox recognition. Maybe classification and separation. We already have a number of classification tools that we offer today, but if you want to do some unstructured, advanced classification, we want to be able to offer that to you as well. So this is coming soon. And then the AutoIndexAI, which is redaction of PI data for searchable PDF. These 3 products, we're looking for use cases. We're looking to partner with customers like we have with the auto indexing. We want to partner with customers. We want to hear your problems and find out which solution is going to solve them best. So if you've heard anything today that made you think, oh, I've got a problem like this, or maybe you heard something that you don't believe we have solved, we still want to hear from you because we are always looking to innovate, as you can tell through the auto indexing AI module. We want to be able to solve your problems. So please don't hesitate to reach out to your account executive with any kind of problem you have in your capture system and help us to be able to solve that with you today and partner with you. That
All right,
concludes.
Andrew. Yeah, so quite a few questions before we move on to the rest of the presentation. So back to the validation module, we got a question about, can the image be undocked and displayed on a separate monitor to make use of 2 screens?
You can expand it, and it is dockable, not in a separate window, but you could expand the web across both monitors and have it adjusted properly, but probably not in the manner that you would like. But that's certainly something we can look at.
All right. Quite a few questions around what AI engine is being used. So I'll take this one. So the Microsoft Azure Intelligent Document Read Services is what we're using for our OCR. And then we're using Meta's large language model purely on-prem. There is a connection to the Microsoft service that just does a verification of image count. So no information exchange. So the truly on-prem service is still capable. All the license checker is doing is making sure you haven't exceeded your license count. How is this module sold? We are selling tiered-based volume subscriptions. So your IBML account executive will be happy to go over the pricing. Again, it's just a net new module to what most of you already have, and so it's just a simple extension of that capability of Capture Suite. This is an interesting one. I don't think we've given much thought. So can I integrate this with our own Microsoft tenant and use the AI services you already have through Microsoft? We'd probably have to talk about that one more, Andrew. I don't think our architecture would allow that for right now. So I think that one maybe is a future type of question that we'd have to get back to. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I would agree with your reply.
Okay. If you have custom scripts created by us, yes, all of this is integrated into the custom scripts and output. So we tried to just simply reproduce the data output exactly like we're doing it today. So very simple capabilities to leverage what's being captured and use the same types of formats.
Yeah, in the end, they're index fields, just like they would be for any other index field that you might have configured.
Does the AI engine need to be trained on each form? I'll let you take that one.
No, it does not. Like I said, you give it the key field and you start testing. No training required.
And are there other additional modules that would need to be purchased? So as we mentioned, the client validation, if you don't have a validation today and you wanted to buy the auto indexing module, we would recommend obviously for the correction purposes, you add that and then the analytics reporting package as well. All right, Andrew, I think I got a couple more here. A question about cursive handwriting. This was cultural heritage applications. Andrew, how would you describe the results we've seen with cursive handwriting?
Yeah, we've seen some amazing results, better than anything that we've seen up to this date. Even some of the stuff we've looked at for exam papers, you know, the way that it translated it, like I said, and one of the examples was better than I would have done. So I would encourage you to reach out to your account executive. Hopefully you can share some forms with us and we can do a demo of your work and show you the results.
Yeah, just to extend that use case, these were seventh grader handwritten cursive essays that we were amazed by the results that it got. All right, so last one here. What type of file format would you want to upload, by tonal TIFF or color?
We would prefer color or grayscale. The image quality really does matter when you look at this AI OCR engine. It doesn't do the traditional 2 and 300 DPI TIFF. It does, but it's going to get a better result when you feed it a better quality image. Now your output can stay black and white. Just use that image temporarily for the OCR engine, and you're really going to see some improved performance.
All right. So let's keep moving, Andrew, if we have time. We still have more questions, but I think, you know, for the sake of time, we've got to keep going and I'll address these individually.
All right.
If we have time.
Okay. We'll quickly look at the rest of the Capture Suite features, which are very important to our existing customers and new customers. But we've enhanced a number of things we want to just quickly review. One is remote document scanning, which we've had for a number of years, but we've improved it by adding it as a service versus an application running that requires a user to be logged in. So now users can log out of their scanner at the end of their shift, and the batches in the background will continue to upload behind the scenes. For those customers that are scanning to the cloud or across a heavy latency type network, they would use remote document scanning. It is now available as a service. Quality control, there's a new permission to enable or disable auto scroll. Post scan, we've added the option to remove pixel counter data from our traditional OCR or zonal OCR. This is going to just reduce network traffic and database size of not putting data that's not important into the database if the customer just wants a combined output. And then our standard XML output now includes all configured outputs. So if you have a searchable PDF or multi-page TIFF, you'll see that in the XML output now with the path and the names of the output files. Additionally, the eStop, we've updated a camera power supply and had to make some changes for it. And then security-wise, we are OWASP code compliant, which means we've met our software to a specific security standard of OWASP by mitigating or resolving any conflicts that this independent third-party software was found in our software. Certifications, we are now certified with Server 2025 on our scanners, as well as in our post scan. The Raptor also has a new host PC with Windows 11 included. All right, well, I've gone through the meat of the presentation. If we have some time for some more questions, we can take those.
Yeah, so go ahead and keep those questions coming in. I tried to chat responses back. Let's see. We've got okay, so we got a few more new open ones here. So if there was no training required, how long does the recognition of each image take?
Yeah, so we can do roughly 40 images a minute. So maybe just a little over a second, but that again depends on the GPU. That depends on the like a standard configuration would be something like that. But we can do multiple GPUs and double up on images and batch sizes too.
Right. So we're certainly capable of helping our customers scale their infrastructure relative to your SLAs. But that's just a sort of a ballpark to give customers an understanding of where to start.
And one of the advantages of Capture Suite is not requiring you to look at every image that might not be important to your organization. So while your daily volume might be X, the important images that you want to send to the engine could be Y. So you have the flexibility to send just important images to your system.
So another question that we got, I'll take this one, is most of the presentation was geared toward the auto indexing AI and the validation, but can the tool be used for more decision-making type of scenarios? So the other products that Andrew introduced is coming soon would likely be where you might solve some of those more of unique classification or advanced forms or the PII redaction. So based on the question, I think that the one of these other technologies would likely be the better path for more advanced type of functions outside of just auto indexing.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear more about your use case. So, don't hesitate. We're looking to partner with customers right now in these areas. So please reach out to us with a problem and let us help find out where it fits.
All right, got it. Just another couple minutes here for any last few questions. I believe that I got every one of them either typed out or verbally answered. Oh, we got one more. Let's see. We typically scan 60,000 documents a day. 65% of them need to be manually keyed. Could this handle that type of volume without stoppages? Absolutely. 60,000 documents a day for a traditional Fusion customer. It's about average, maybe even less. And so that type of volume, no, absolutely no problem.
Yeah, that's our sweet spot. All right. Hey, I think that's it, right?
Yeah, we've got to drop.
All right. Well, hey, I appreciate the feedback, the questions. As you think about this further, we'll send out the recording. We'd love to continue to partner with our customers and make sure that we're solving the problems in the right way. So please reach out to us, reach out to your account executive, and let us help you be more successful. Thank you for attending and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody. I got a couple more questions to Sheila, if I can, or Susan, before we end. Try to answer these real quick. All right. Got them, guys. Thanks.